Hi guys, so I want to talk you through now the second part of the live launch list. I'm just going to share my screen with you here to Google Chrome. Now, in our first part of the live launch list, we did two things. We created a segment on our downloadable visitors list, and we can actually see that here, right? And then we exported that segment using the export segment button. And so that segment actually came through to my mail while I was closed out of here. And so I saved it to my desktop, and you can't see my desktop, but there's a CSV file on my desktop, which is this group of people here, this segment here. So that's exciting. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go into my list. Now, if you recall in the last session, we also looked at the list and we created a new list, which was called Webinar Visitors List. You guys remember that? So we had the segment created, we downloaded or imported that, and then we had the webinars visitors list as well. Yep. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into my webinar visitors list. I'm just going to click on that. And I'm going to add contacts. And I'm going to import contacts. And yeah, you guessed it. We're going to import those contacts from the desktop file. So did that work? Import contacts. Come on. Sometimes a little bit slow. Right, so that's perfect. We've got the CSV file on the desktop, so I'm just going to click on next. And then I'm going to upload the file from the desktop. And the file was called, this is where you have to remember where you've called your files, people. So the file, oh, I think I'm in the wrong spot here anyway. Okay, so the file was actually called the segment, subscribe segment export. Yeah, that one there. So that's fine. It's actually accepted that. I'm going to click on next. Right. And this is obviously most likely going to match everything because I've got everything in, because it is a MailChimp export after all, so it's going to import very nicely. So pretty much all we do is I can save that and save, 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 skip. Yeah, and skip any that I don't really need. Yeah, and I just go along this until I get to the end. Skip. Yeah. And so that's it, right? Does that make sense? So just save the ones I want. I skip the ones I don't want. And then just click next. Now, it is good if you've got all the data about your people, but it's not imperative. As long as you've got their email address, name, that's really the most important thing. So it says I'm all set to import, so I'm actually going to just click on import now. Okay, and it's just imported it, and I know that because there were 37 on my list and there was one already in my webinar visitors, which was me. Okay, so it actually has imported all of my contacts from that segment. Super, super exciting. So I'm happy about that. Yep. Does that make sense? So now I've got both my list and also my segment. I kind of know what I'm doing here. And so each week you will go and you will export your list from the people that have basically gone in your downloadable visitors, who are the segment, which is downloadable visitors who have finished that series, and then they are going to get exported, and then you're going to re-import them up to your webinar visitors. As well as that, however, you will have people who before the end of that 13 days or 14 days are going to click on a link to visit your webinar, and those people are going to automatically come in here to our webinar visitors through our funnel, okay? So when you import your list into the webinar visitors, it is going to be likely that you will have duplicates. That's okay, because we've actually ticked that if someone does come in or is imported or added and there's someone already in there, then It just means that we end up with 1 instead of 2. Does that make sense? So I hope that all makes sense, but if you want clarification, just send me an email and I'm certainly happy to go through it. So what we're actually going to do now is we're going to go to campaigns, because we've set up all our lists and segments and everything we need the way we need it. And we're going to create a new campaign. And we're going to call our campaign, it's going to be an email campaign. So this is important. It's a little bit different to how we set up the email nurture sequence, guys, so be aware of that. It's an automated campaign, but it is not the welcome new subscribers campaign. It is a date-based campaign, and we're going to put it on the list at a date. Yeah. And the campaign name, very important we do this right, is live launch sequence. Yeah. Now we're going to select a list, and we're going to select the list webinar visitors. So we are only going to send the live launch sequence to webinar visitors who have finished the downloadable campaign, but it will also go to webinar visitors who went and clicked on the webinar link and came through the funnel that way. I hope that makes sense. It's a little tricky to understand, but I think it's straightforward enough that we can get it. So we're just going to create this new campaign. Now, the difference between, like while this is loading, I'll tell you, the difference between a welcome campaign and a date-based campaign is one thing and one thing alone. This trigger here, you can see in this campaign says 1 day after subscribers join your list, but in your welcome campaign, the trigger is going to be immediate. So immediately they will get the download once they've requested it. I hope that that makes sense. Guys, I'm just going to take 1 second to put my battery in because it's saying there's a low battery and I don't want this to die on us while we're recording. So just bear with me. Right. That should work now. Yep, starting to charge. Great news. So here's what you need to know. We've set up our live launch sequence, and we're actually going to send this live launch sequence to our subscribers 1 day after they've joined the list, so straight away. And this live launch sequence is set up pretty much from this point forward the same way that the email nurture sequence was. So what that means is we go in, we click on design email, okay, we go over to our Word doc and we find, let me just find the doc here, okay. I don't know if you guys can see this side, but it's not really a problem if you can't. All you need to know is that I'm going to the live launch sequence and I'm actually finding the first email on there, and I'm just going to copy and paste that, right? So it would actually be day 14. Okay, so I'm just going to copy and paste that here. So my email is called day 14, announcement, name of program, doors are open and early bird bonus. Yeah. And in my email subject, we're not going to call it day 14. We're just going to call it announcement. And then the name of my program. Name of my program is the Social Media Supermom Online Bootcamp, and it says doors are open and early bird bonus. Yep, it's got all the other information there. So I can click on next, right? And then I'm going to go down to where it says simple text, just the way I've done it for the email nurture sequence. Right, sorry about the background noise, guys. Got my kids in the back. Right, and we're just going to delete out our header like we did with the email nurture sequence. We're going to go and edit the text. I'm going to quickly go over to my Word doc, grab the text of that first email. So just give me a moment. Let me grab that. All right, and I'm going to pop that in here. Okay, and you can see there that I've done all of that. It's not obviously formatted, but it is done. Just bear with me 1 moment. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. So this is now being cut and pasted. Yep. We're going to save and continue. And there we go. There is our first email. So we go through the whole process like that. Obviously, we've got day 1, 2, 3, and then we just keep adding emails until we get to however many emails on this list. I think on this list we've got about, let me just check the Word document, but I think on this list we've got, let's have a look. We have actually got 23 emails, guys. Not 23 total emails. So we go from day 14 to day 23. Does that make sense? So I hope that makes sense. Yeah, if you have any questions about that, let me know. Once you've done all of your emails, then you're just going to click next. Obviously, this is saying to resolve the issues below, and that's okay because I'm not too worried about it. We just need to make sure they're resolved before we actually send them out. So I'm going to save and exit and go back to my campaigns, and it's going to say, are you sure? Because you haven't started your automation. Obviously, I'm going to exit without starting. When everything's ready and all the templates are set up and everything's good to go, then we can click finish automation then. But for now, I'm just going to click exit without starting, which means it will be saved as a draft campaign. Can you see that? And there it is. There's our live launch sequence. So most importantly, in summing up, the people on our live launch sequence list are people that already went through our email nurture sequence list completely for 13 days and reached the end of that list without clicking anything, or people that were in our email nurture sequence list and clicked on something like the webinar or the next download, and then from that and from that funnel were automatically sent through to the live launch sequence list. I hope that makes sense. If you need any clarification at all on that, please let me know. Thanks so much. And the next video will be on our post-purchase sequence.